Hello guys, I welcome you to my new video, and this is for the speaking section of the IELTS test. And in this video, I'm actually going to tell you some do's and don'ts for the speaking task 1. As you might know that there are 3 parts in the speaking test as well, but in this one I'm only going to cover task 1, okay? And these are the tips that I use to score a band 8.5 in the speaking test. But before I start, please, if you're new to my channel and you're preparing for your IELTS, please subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date with all the new videos that I post, because I will be posting a lot of new videos, okay? And thanks a lot to all my subscribers, and I wish you luck for the IELTS test. So let's start. First of all, I'm going to give you some general tips for the speaking test, okay? These tips apply for all the parts, and these are some general tips. Firstly, be very friendly and confident, okay? Well, now I know it's natural to get nervous in the exam. Obviously, you're doing your IELTS exam, and let's say, if God forbid you are doing it for the second or the third time or something, you're obviously more nervous, but try to stay calm and appear to be confident. Try to be confident when you speak, okay? Because it's a speaking test, it's really important. Gives a good vibe about you as well. Secondly, dress appropriately. Well, I know it's an exam, but it really matters. Okay, just imagine, if you were going for a job interview, yeah, how would you dress? Obviously, you're going to dress very smart because you are going for a job interview. Just think like that. Think you're going for a job interview. It's definitely an interview with the examiner for around 15 minutes. So yeah, and the first impression counts. It really does. Trust me on that. The third tip, well, if you get something you're not sure of, let's say they give you a question to talk about a historical building or something like that, something that you're not sure of, please, 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 don't just stay quiet, okay? It's a speaking test. The examiner is there to mark you on whatever you speak, okay? So if you don't speak, he doesn't know how to mark you. He can't do anything, okay? Or you just say, I don't know, okay? Please don't do that. Even if you get a difficult question or something that you think that you don't know anything about, please try to answer it. Because remember, there is no right or wrong answer in the speaking test, okay? But yeah, I'm saying that, but say something logical, okay? Let's say if they are asking you about the internet, for example, just don't, like, you know, if you can't think of anything related to internet, you start speaking about cars or something. You know, it's not logical, so be very logical, okay? But try to say something. It's extremely important. Okay. So, because the main topic of this slide is part 1, well, the whole video is part 1 of the speaking test. All the tips I'm going to give you are related to that. If there is some general tip, I will tell you as well, okay? First of all, part 1, the introduction in the speaking section. Well, it is the easiest section of all. You know why? Because it's all about you, or things that are related to you. So what kind of things actually they can ask you? Well, they can ask you about yourself. Where do you study? About your hometown, about your city. What are your hobbies? What do you like, or what do you dislike? Your friends. Do you like to play sports? What is your favorite food? Or maybe which dish is really popular in your country? So everything that's related to you, okay? And I'm sure it's not very difficult to speak about yourself, yeah? It's more difficult when you have to speak about other people's opinion and stuff like that, yeah? Okay, let me give you some tips. The most important tip, and the tip that I used to get about 8.5 in the speaking test, was to expand my answers. Yes, I am talking about part 1. Now, you don't have to expand a lot, okay? Because this, remember, the examiner is, I'm going to ask you like around 12 questions. Okay, and if you give very, very long answers, you won't be able to do that. So 2 to 3 sentences is fine for the part 1, okay? But still you have to expand. Please. Now in this slide, just have a look at the screen. The things that I have highlighted in red means a big no-no, okay? So you don't have to do. But blue color means that yes, you have to do those things. So those things that you should follow that, okay? So in the red, you can see I wrote, do not give yes or no answers, okay? So let's say if they give you a question and they ask you, do you like rain? Just don't say yes, I like it, or no, I don't like it. Don't do like that, okay? Please expand your answers, okay? Now I know many people struggle with expanding the answers, especially if you have a low level of English. Like, it can be difficult. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to expand your answers, okay? But remember, 2 to 3 sentences is fine for the part 1, okay? Let me give you examples. If you are, excuse me, please. If you are saying that public transport is very cheap, so let's say they asked you something about public transport in your country or in your city or whatever, and you are saying, yes, public transport is very cheap, then another way you can expand this or add another point is by giving examples. So you can say something like, well, it's very cheap in my city and it takes only around $2 or whatever your currency is, like Indian or Pakistani rupees or Canadian dollars or whatever it is, okay? It really depends. But yeah, like you get what I'm saying. You have to give examples. So that's one way you can expand your answer, okay, if you struggle with expanding. Now let's see, how else can you expand? Well, if the question asks you for your opinion, okay, then you give the reason as well, okay? Explain the reason. Don't just say yes or no, as I said before as well. So, if they ask you a question like, do you like when it rains? Don't just say, yes, I like it when it rains, or I don't like it when it rains. Don't say like that. Expand, okay? And you can, another way that you can expand is by giving the reason for what you are saying. So you can say, I totally hate it when it rains because everything feels very gloomy and I mostly have to stay indoors. You see? So I gave 2 reasons. I'm telling that, yes, I don't like when it rains, but I'm also giving the reasons why I don't like it. I'm saying because everything feels very gloomy. You see? I wrote everything feels very gloomy and I mostly have to stay indoors. So these are the 2 reasons that I don't like when it rains. So that was how we expand. Instead of just saying I like when it rains or I don't like when it rains, I'm giving reasons to expand my answer. Well, another way you can also expand your answer is by contrasting it with the other side. For the above question, let's say like you got this question, do you like when it rains? I'm going to use the same example. So you say something like, I dislike rain since I have to stay indoors mostly. If it is bright and sunny, I can go and enjoy at the beach, for example, with my friends. Okay, so I'm contrasting. The examiner asked me about rain. Okay, so I gave my answer. I said that I dislike rain. Okay, and I also gave a reason, but I'm also contrasting it with the opposite side. I'm saying that when it is bright and sunny, when it's not raining, when it's the opposite, it's bright and sunny, then I can go and enjoy it at the beach, for example, with my friends. So here I have used combination techniques. Okay, I've combined 2-3 things together. So I'm giving an example. See, I wrote here, I can go and enjoy at the beach, for example. Okay, so I'm giving an example of something. Also, I'm contrasting, okay? So I'm telling that I dislike the rain, but then again, I'm saying that if it is bright and sunny, so when it's bright and sunny, what can I do? Which I like. So I'm contrasting rain with the weather when it's bright and sunny. So I can use that technique, okay? An example, okay, as well I used. So using 2 or 3 techniques together can be a good way of expanding your answers. Now, the next tip I have for you for the speaking part 1. Use good vocabulary, okay? It's very essential. But please, okay, try to use something that is uncommon, okay? Now, good vocabulary doesn't mean like, you have to memorize the Oxford Dictionary, okay? But you don't have to use very, very big words, trust me, okay? I got an 8.5 and I'm telling you that. You don't have to. You just use an uncommon word, okay? An uncommon word is like a word that they won't expect a non-native speaker to say, okay, or speak. So just as an example, if you were saying something is very infamous, okay, or it was famous in a bad way, in a negative way, okay, so then it's better to use an uncommon word, which is notorious. Notorious means when something is famous in a negative way, in a wrong way, okay? So use uncommon words, okay? Please don't try to memorize the dictionary, it doesn't help. Okay, another tip I have for you guys is avoid repetition of the words. This is important as well. So what do you do then? If you don't have to repeat the word, what would you do? You would instead use synonyms. Synonyms are words that have the same meaning, different words that have the same meaning, okay? So let me just give you an example here. So if I have to say something about, instead of saying I was very happy after getting the job offer, okay? So happy is a very common word, yeah? Very simple and very common, okay? And if you have to speak about something that you were really happy about, okay? If you kept on using the word happy again and again and again, it's not going to do any good to you, trust me. So instead of saying that, you say, I was thrilled to get a job offer, or I was ecstatic to get the job offer, okay? Another technique that you can use, instead of using synonyms, you can use idioms. So you can say, I was over the moon. Over the moon means you were extremely happy, okay? So instead of using the word happy, I'm using an idiom. So these words that you can see in blue, for example, thrilled, ecstatic, these are all synonyms, okay? And they are synonyms for the word happy. And this idiom also, over the moon, okay? That is also an idiom that can be used instead of the word happy. So instead of repeating the word, try to use these. That will help. Also, the most important tip I have to give you is like only use the word please if you're 100% sure. Please, okay? Because what happens is if you try to use big words and then you use them incorrectly, or you're pronouncing them incorrectly, or you are using them incorrectly, like the grammar form is incorrect, trust me, it will do more harm than good. It will really lower your score because the examiner is going to think, okay, this person is trying to use big words, but he doesn't know anything about these words. He doesn't know, or she doesn't know how to use the word, what's the correct form of the word that has to be used, how to pronounce the word. Everything matters. So only use it if you know what it means, how to pronounce it, what are the correct forms, whether it's a noun form, whether it's a verb form, adverb form, which form is to be used. If you know everything, you know the word 100%, only use it then. It's better to use simple words and use them correctly rather than to use big words and use them incorrectly. Okay? Because as I already said, it will do more harm than good if you use them incorrectly. Okay? So please. Okay, the next tip I have for you guys is use topic-specific vocabulary. Okay? So now, what is topic-specific? These are the words or phrases that are used in connection to a particular topic. So if you're talking about one topic in your exam, in your question, then these are the words or phrases that are related to this topic or when you're describing a particular topic, and you can use this. Let me give you an example, okay? Let's say you were talking about the use of internet. So your topic is internet, okay? So these are the following words that you can use. It includes browsing, so browsing the internet. Gadgets, you can say something like, I have a lot of gadgets on which I use internet. So this is something you can use to describe. You can say, I love surfing the net and going on different websites while I'm using the internet. Cybercrime. You can say the rate of cybercrime has been soaring in the past decade. Okay, so you see how all these words are related to the topic of internet, and we can use them in our speaking part. Okay, so try to use topic-specific vocabulary. And there are different topics like that come up, like health, education, transport, budget, like government budget and stuff like that. So you can prepare like the vocabulary beforehand and then try and use them when but it should be natural. Okay, the examiner shouldn't think that you're trying to force big words or vocabulary and you don't know anything about it. Okay, the 100% rule, remember that. Another one is be fluent. Okay, your fluency matters. Okay, now some people, what they do is when they're speaking, they're thinking of big words to use. Okay, they think that we're going to use big words and then we're going to show off to the examiner and he's going to give us a good mark. But if you are thinking of big words, and because you are thinking, your fluency is really like it doesn't work out well. So try to use words that you are more natural at using. Okay, so let's say you were, and another part is like don't hesitate and pause a lot. So don't be like okay, I think that you understand. So there should be no hesitations or pauses. Okay, it should be more natural at a nice pace, as if you were speaking. If you were speaking in your native language, you wouldn't be speaking like I think so. Like, you understand what I mean, right? So at a good pace. So it should be fluent, okay? Because that's one of the criteria that's used in the marking scheme by the IELTS examiner. Okay, another tip is have some knowledge about your country, your town, etc. Because it's the part one, okay? In part one, you're asked about things related to you or yourself, okay? So let's say if somebody asks you about a popular place in your country that tourists can visit, so you should know which are the popular places in your country, okay? You should have some knowledge about it, okay? So research like, what are the popular tourist destinations in your city or in your country, about transportation in your country, about foods, like, and then foods that are really popular in your city or country, and things like that, okay? Related to your city and country. Because they are going to test you on that as well. Okay, the next step I've got is related to pronunciation. Now, the accent doesn't matter, okay? You should know that. But having said that, your pronunciation, how you pronounce things, words, is important. Now, there are two things that you have to keep in mind, okay? Your pronunciation should be accurate. It should be correct. Because if you're pronouncing the words wrong, you'll be penalized. Okay, it will lower your score. So you should pronounce it correctly. Also, your pronunciation should be clear. So don't go in the exam and just mumble. You're not speaking to yourself. The examiner is there to mark you, okay? And if he's unable to hear you because you're speaking too slowly or you're just mumbling to yourself and you're not talking clearly and loudly, then that's not good, okay? And plus, remember, you're being recorded, okay? So speak loudly and clearly, okay? And accurately. Now, if you have a very strong accent, try to see how the native English speakers pronounce particular words. If you have a really big problem with your pronunciation, because that might help you, okay? So let's go to the next. The next one is tenses. Well, I've written tenses here because this is actually a general one. It applies to all the parts in the speaking test. You should use the tenses accurately. And which tense to use, if that's your problem, then the question will tell you okay? Because it really depends on the question. Let me give you some examples. Let's say the examiner asks you, how did you celebrate your last birthday? Okay. Now in this question, the examiner is asking you about something that happened in the past. Okay, that has already happened, it's past. So obviously you're going to use past tense. So you can say something like, I went over to my aunt's place and she baked a special cake for me. So you're telling the examiner what happened in the past. How did you celebrate your last birthday? So went, you can see here on the screen, went is a past tense, okay? So you'll say, I went over to my aunt's place and she baked. Baked is also a past tense, okay? So the question tells you which tense to use, okay? Another important situation is where you have to talk about a hypothetical situation, okay? Now you might ask, what is hypothetical situation? Let me give you an example. Excuse me. Let's say the examiner asks you, what would you do if you win a lottery? Okay, now this is an example of a hypothetical situation. You haven't won a lottery, okay? It is something imaginary. You have to imagine that this has happened. Okay, so you haven't won the lottery, but the examiner is asking you, what would you do if you win a lottery? So it's a hypothetical situation. So in this case, you will use something that is called conditionals, okay, conditional structures. There are 3 types of conditionals. This all comes in the grammar, actually. But if you're talking about a hypothetical situation, then you will use something called second conditional, okay? And let me explain you. So when you're using a second conditional, okay, you say something like this. If I won a lottery, okay, so the examiner asks you, what would you do if you win a lottery? Okay, and if you were giving the answer, you would say something like, if I won a lottery, won is a simple past tense of win, okay? So here we use simple past tense of the verb, of the main verb, okay? So one is a simple past tense, and then you would use the structure, I would buy, okay? This is all second conditional. So you will answer, if I won a lottery, I would buy a luxurious house in the countryside. Okay, so you can see how I've used the conditionals. Okay, so guys, this was all for today. I hope you found this video helpful. And if you found the video helpful, please hit the like button. And if you're new and you are watching this video, so please subscribe to my channel because I post a lot of videos on my channel. And if you're preparing for your IELTS, it can really help you. And best of luck for your preparation. Study hard. Don't give up. I'm sure you can do it too. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.